Hey everyone, welcome to 2021 and another episode of New to Weeaboo. This is number 38 for January 13th, 2021. Yeah, at that point, gotta have to remember.
Yeah, well, I don't think 2020 really has truly left us, not
quite.
with recent events.
Yeah, this last week has been eventful, to say the least. That was Alcatraz, you heard, right there.
Yes, I am here.
Yeah, I'm Nemesis, and yeah, it's last week has definitely been eventful. Mostly, actually, one day specifically has been very eventful.
Well, yes.
Boy.
Is for sure.
Yeah, so that was, Wednesday sure was a thing.
It sure was a day.
And so, yeah, that was an attempt to, I guess, do something, because they got there and just kind of milled about and then were told to go away, and they did.
Yeah.
Well, they tried, I guess. But they still lost.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that was a thing, and well, of course, let's see how many social media
jeez.
places have completely banned him.
Like all of them, all of the important ones.
Yeah, pretty much everyone. Banned from Twitter 4 times essentially. He just can't stop losing.
Just can't. When are you gonna get tired of winning?
He must be, because he's now losing all the time. But yeah, so that was a thing that happened. But in the world of anime, the new Winter 2021 season has started. That includes, of course, as we said before, Year Camp. Season 2 is airing now. So that's cool. New Year's Day, they finally announced an air date for Zombieland Saga Revenge, right after we complained about it last time. The lack of news. So apparently, April.
Yep. We should complain about lack of news more often.
Yeah, well, certain kinds of news. Don't do a general. There's nothing good going on, because that's going to lead to disaster.
Monkey paw curls.
But anyway, we're here to talk about good old franchise we've already talked about a couple times. Love Live. But this time, Love Live Nijigasaki High School Idol Club.
Yep.
That is the name, because it used to be Perfect Dream Project, and that got changed way back when. That was a lot easier to remember. But anyway, yeah, it is the third iteration of Love Live, and it's actually very much more of a spin-off than that even Sunshine was.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, it's pretty similar to the other ones in some ways. Kind of actually takes a couple different steps here and there, but yeah, it's basically 9 idols out of high school doing their thing, performing, all that stuff. The thing is, this one, unlike the previous 2, there is no big story about the school or anything. The school's fine. There's no danger of it shutting down. In fact, it's a massive, well-funded school.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
So there's that. The big thing here is just mostly interpersonal and personal drama is the name of the game here. There's no big thing. They don't even really, they talk about Love Live the Love Live competition a little bit, but they don't really go anywhere with it.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is the first Love Live with no Love Live.
Yeah.
There is no Love Live. They mention it quickly, and then that's
it's
all
mostly,
you really
most
hear.
of it is the first part of it is the building the school idol club, because it was disbanded, and then they building it back up. Then after that, it's kind of just a little bit more personal stuff, and then it's 2 particular characters and their very particular personal thing, and then it's the more or less the victory lap final episode.
Yep. Yeah, I'm about to say, how can you have a Love Live anime without Love Live? That's like having a Halo game with no Halo.
Well, that's happened though. Oh,
I know.
It's happened multiple times now. But anyway, yeah. So this one is very much. I mean, they're all like this, but this one very specifically is even more so character focused.
Yes,
than ever,
because there's no
overarching plot.
Yep.
Well, not really. Or there is one. It doesn't last very long.
Yeah.
So that's where we're most surprised. That's where most of our talking is going to be, is about these characters. And yeah. So yeah, this time there's 10 of them, because there's a 10th character who isn't an idol. She's more or less the manager, behind the scenes person.
Yep.
Because she's just there to support them, and she's got an interesting history. We'll get into all the characters as we go over. But first of all, Yu Takasaki. She is not the idol. She is a manager. She is kind of just there around, helping him out behind the scenes, paying no attention to the girl behind the curtain. Then you got Ayumi Uehara, who is the childhood best friend who refuses to fall into the trope of the childhood best friend. You catch my drift on that.
Yes.
You got Shizuku Asaka, who is an accomplished lesbian. Excuse me, thespian. And you got Karin Asaka, who tried to go talk to the manager but got lost along the way. You got Ai Miyashita, who is, when talking to her, it's a bit of a punishment. If you catch my drift on that one. Kanata Kanoi, who's, well, she could sleep through a hurricane.
Yep.
You got Emma Verde, who wants to tell you that, yes, the hills are, in fact, alive with the sound of music. You got Rina Tenoji, who, in another lifetime, would have been a very successful VTuber.
Yes.
You got Setsuna Yuki, who has the power of God and anime on her side. And I guess, let's see, there's one other one who doesn't actually count because he doesn't appear in this anime.
Right.
And the final one who appears in this is Kasumi Nakasu, who is basically what happens if you feed Nico after midnight.
You've got wonderful descriptions for all of these.
I was thinking about them all week. But yeah, so those are the characters, and yeah, the whole thing starts off with, well, you and Ayumi just hanging out because they're, best friends and everything, and then they just hear off in the distance music and they go investigate, and it's Setsuna putting on a performance. Setsuna Yuki putting on a performance of one of her songs and by herself on the steps, and just you is enraptured immediately. And heck, the visuals are like very, well, fiery, almost hellish visuals, like representing, yes, her descent into idol hell.
That's a good way to put it. Descent into idle hell.
Right
and
there.
Enjoying the trip, apparently.
Yeah. So she just gets excited and she just wants to know all more about the school idol thing. And Ayuma kind of goes along with it. And yeah, they find out the idol club has already been disbanded, apparently, because of some reason or another. And
yeah, they don't realize it at first.
Yeah, then Kasumi shows up and like, hey, I'm going to make sure this comes back.
Oh, hey, people who are interested.
Yes.
I can use this.
Yeah, and after basically as time goes on, they slowly rebuild the club.
Yep.
Well, not really that slowly. It takes like 4 episodes and they're pretty much got it all together.
Yep. Got the gang back together.
Yeah, because basically what happened there was it kind of disbanded after Setsuna more or less got really a little too intense. And everyone kind of like, well, wasn't really feeling it anymore.
Yeah, no, it was kind of things came to head between Setsuna and Kasumin.
Kasumin, yeah. Kasumin, that's even changed. Kasumin.
The gremlin.
Yep, the gremlin.
Yep, and they had kind of a bit of a short shouting match, and then there was a disbanding.
Yep, and yeah, it was supposed to. That was the whole thing. That turns out the performance that Setsuna did in the first episode was actually supposed to be a group performance, and wound up being not the case.
No.
So that's a thing. Yeah, so they go, get themselves together, and they have to somewhat. There's a bit of a, hey, you can't do that quite yet because, well, Nana Nakagawa comes along, the school president.
Yeah, and there's the standard trope that always comes up whenever we're dealing with school clubs. Oh, you need to find more members.
Mm-hmm. Members reforms, and also it's like a surprise. Nana Nakagawa is actually Setsuna Yuki with glasses and a braid.
What? No way. Just put on some glasses and you become someone completely different.
Well,
just
Superman.
like Clark Kent.
Yeah. Actually, the way things go, it seems Setsuna even thinks of herself kind of a bit of a superhero. Well, we'll get into it a little bit later. But yeah, that was the thing. And then get all the original members, and we could pick up a couple new ones. And then, yeah, that's... The thing is, every episode, most of the episodes kind of are structured like every single episode is a focus on one particular member of the club until the end.
Until the end. Yeah, and there's a reason that they did that, because they found out pretty early on, and combining with the argument that broke them apart in the first place, they're all want to be idols for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the big departures of this particular Love Live compared to the other ones, is they all decide to be solo idols
Yep.
instead of one big idol group.
Friends and rivals.
Frenemies. We know how those go.
With friends like these, who needs enemies? Yeah, so that's basically one of the big departures. Yeah, is that simply the fact there are 9 solo acts versus one big act. Occasionally, yes, they do come together and do their own group performance, but for the most part, they are separate.
Yep, yeah, and it's an interesting what they came up with, like one club where they all train together and support each other, but for their own individual acts.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a neat way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can have their crossovers when they, when things align in the right way, and they'll have something they want to do. You can have like your subgroups, which even the previous Love Live ones did their own little subgroups.
Subunits.
Music.
Yeah. This one has subunits, but they don't really pop up in the anime at all. There are official subunits though, but they're different. That's not 3 groups of 3. There's a group of 4, a group of 2, and a group of 3. So that's a bit different. But yeah, big thing. One of the big things is you and Ayumu is their thing, because the thing is about you in particular. She is kind of you, the viewer / player of the game. Yes, you.
Yes,
you is you.
I am me.
Why are you me? I'm me.
Well, what's great. Well, yeah, we'll get into that later. Just some of the wording.
Yeah, Yu Takasaki there is she kind of is in a weird spot because she represents the player character from the All-Stars game, who in that game you name yourself whatever, and so they also do the clever really get around it by if they have to reference you, and specifically they call her the Prez, because in the game she's the president of the club, not Kasumi like it is in the anime. Or Kasumi self-declared, but no one ever really challenged it, so I guess that's official.
Yeah. That only comes up like once.
Yep.
I'm going to be the president now. And
no one
kind of
really challenges it, so I guess that's it.
But it's also never mentioned, so...
So yeah, Yu is weird, because she supposedly is based on a character that they're supposed to represent the fan base in a sense. That's that's her thing. She is more or less the representation of the fan base in a sense. But also they had to actually give her a personality and character. So here we go.
She wouldn't be boring. Yeah.
So she winds up being the core one who kind of brings everyone together and gets things rolling.
Yeah.
And she also winds up being the support. She supports the idols like a fan base would support the idols. So you get it.
Yeah.
She doesn't really perform herself, but she then starts getting into music and whatnot, and finding she kind of enjoys playing the piano, and she's the one who more or less is behind the scenes, making sure everything goes right
and setting things up and doing all the managerial work and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what she does and whatnot. So that's also funny because in the game it's because of this she's talking to the player, but she's or the characters talk to her, but she's you the player, and they can lead to very well, because the nature of Love Live as a franchise leads to a lot of gay.
Leads to a lot of gay.
Yeah. Anyway,
which is totally expected.
Yeah, her whole and even in the game too, her whole backstory is she has been childhood friends with Ayumu, and they literally are next door neighbors, and everything in the same apartment block and building and everything. Yep. And Ayumu, it's become increasingly obvious Ayumu is very devoted to you.
Yes, devoted.
Yes.
And then things become problematic.
Yeah, she's very much the childhood friend who's in love with the oblivious protagonist idiot.
Yep. Yeah.
And the thing is, unlike a lot of them, she isn't content to just sit there and just watch from afar. She eventually goes, nah, I'm going for it.
Yep, and that's after... Before that...
There's a bit of drama before that.
There's a thing with... She thinks there's something going on between you and Setsuna.
Yeah. That's a thing. Basically,
it's a misunderstanding.
Yeah, basically it's a love triangle, but 2 of the idiots involved have no idea there's a love triangle. Not 1, but 2. Yeah. That's a very rare kind of love triangle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so also use the whole thing, she's got green eyes, she's got a little bit of green in her hair. Yeah, so that's interesting in of itself, but yeah.
Yeah, she's got 2 little pigtail things.
Yep, she's also kind of
green
short.
Tips.
Yeah, Yumu's she's pink hair, she's very fluffy, kind of childish.
She's cute. She's I want to say that she's the one who tries to be cute, but that's the gremlin.
Yeah, that's
Casimine.
Kasumi.
But she is also the quote unquote cute one.
Yep.
Ayuban.
Ayuban.
Ayuban. How do we pronounce that with the accent? Yes, that whole thing.
The whole bunny thing.
Yeah, it whole started off like she was always cute as a kid, and you really enjoyed that. But then I'm grown up now. I can't do that. Except she secretly really wants to, and
because you like
part of this whole thing is because you liked it, and part of it is her realizing she can still do that.
Yep.
Just because you're older doesn't mean you have to give that up.
Yeah. So a large chunk of it is devoted to her story. Just she thinks of herself as quite ordinary, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then Yu's like, gets all enamored of school idols, and Yuma kind of also gets a little involved, and then next thing she knows, she's a school idol, and oh
no, how did this happen?
Yep. Yeah, she's kind of that, often she is the girl who would be just kind of looked over because, she's too nice to actually, and too timid to actually, get what she wants.
Yeah.
Usually, but
no, she went for it.
She went for it in the end. Yeah, but then there's also, speaking of Setsuna Yuki, we talked about it a little bit, but she's an interesting character. I like Setsuna.
She is an interesting character.
Yeah, so the whole thing, she does the whole double lives to school president thing because part of it is her parents are kind of strict and don't want her involved, in that sort of thing. They want her to be, very, very proper, straight A student.
Yep.
And she has a love of school idols and whatnot, and again, also quite short. I found out, yes, I looked it up because one of the things is in the game, they show all their heights and whatnot, like all listed in there, including when, say, there's an update, you're just constantly, it's just scrolling through them, showing all their details. She's the same height as Nico.
Wow, she is short.
Yeah. Yu's only 2 centimeters taller. Sabrina's even shorter. Setsuna here is, her whole thing is, like, she secretly is a school idol. She tries to play up this whole thing because Setsuna, it's like, no one can figure out what classes she go to, anything, and Karen's the first one to figure out. It's like, oh, Nana, President Nana, you're Setsuna, aren't you?
Yep. She is able to retrieve the student directory and can't find Setsuna anywhere in it.
Nope, that's interesting.
Has anyone seen these two together at a party?
Exactly.
Oh, that comes up as kind of humorous in the ending.
Yeah.
With the whole festival.
Yep.
And getting approval. Sitting.
Are you a fan too? Huh?
Yep, the whole thing is sitting in the student council office as the 2 of the idols are trying to get approval from the student council. Yep. And she has to sit there and keep her mouth shut.
Yep. Yeah, the other thing about Setsuna is, she's a bit of a otaku. She loves anime and manga and stuff, even if her parents disapprove. And she will, if you get her talking, she will not stop. She will never stop.
Yep.
She loves this stuff. Yeah, so that's a thing there. Is just she just. Actually, this is not in the anime, but in the game, the Setsuna Yuki name actually came from a couple anime characters she liked.
Yeah, it makes sense.
She just took 2 names and smushed them together, and there you go.
That's common. That's common.
Yeah, that's why I was like, power of God in anime. She also that thing is like the weird thing, but the thing about her is like she, like we said, she's short. She's like Pat Benatar, small woman, big voice.
Ah, yes.
Because you see her singing that, and it's like, whoa.
Yep.
She's got power.
Yep. Her biggest thing was the whole passion of the whole school idol thing. Yep. And that's one of the things that came to head. Because she had been the president of the club as well.
Mm-hmm.
And she was pushing everyone really, really, really hard, trying to get to Love Live. It just wasn't in it.
Yep.
But yeah, she's got that passion for it.
Yep, and she was just trampling all over what everyone else wanted and for what she wanted, and yep. Almost killed it.
Almost. Well, technically she did.
Yeah. Well, Casimir.
Because they went on.
Casimir refused to let it die.
Yeah, Casimir. Yeah, because they were only supposed to go on like a break.
Yep, and then it was disbanded.
And then all of a sudden disbanded because she's the school council president. She can just do that.
And Kasumi refused because she snuck into the office and stole the nameplate.
Yep.
Of course, she got caught, but she still ran.
Yep.
And declared herself president of the school idol club.
Of the new club, yep. I guess that's all it takes is if you can get a hold of the placard,
yep.
You're the new president.
That's how it works, right?
Yep.
Yeah, speaking of Kasumi, oh geez, Kasumi.
Oh, Kasumi.
She is obsessed with, the idea of her being the cutest person ever. She's obsessed with the cuteness. She's obsessed with everyone praising and loving her.
Yep.
She needs it or she will literally die.
Which also means she's the one that kind of gets overlooked every now and then.
Yep.
Because
even the OP itself kind of makes a little joke about it. Very, very quick visual joke where they just kind of, the camera zooms in and pauses in every single one of them. It goes right by Kasumi initially. Just goes right by her and then snaps back to her later. That's her whole thing. Is she is you said I can't. Yeah, it's that she's not quite as much of a gremlin as Nico. I disagree. She's more of a gremlin than Nico ever was.
They're hard to compare because they're gremlins in different ways. But
well, it's just funny for me because
she's very much a gremlin.
In the game, Nico and Kasumi meeting each other is definitely a thing.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Oh boy, there's a bit where they actually get into a huge argument and then try to drag you into it, and you're just like, and unfortunately there's no just run option. Just run away. Just run. Just keep running. Never stop running.
Yeah.
That's the thing she actually is even willing to engage in active sabotage in order to get herself on top.
Yep. Gremlin.
Yep.
Every group has their gremlin. Some just more than others.
Yeah, she is very self-centered to say the least.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Of course, everyone loves to bring her down a peg or two.
Yeah.
Even unintentionally.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm remembering again near the end during the festival setup as all the other groups are coming in and asking for help from individual members. They keep pulling because Castman's we're all gonna train together, and then one gets pulled away, another gets pulled away. Everyone's asking except for her.
And then the very end about Kasumi.
And then someone comes in and asks for her, and she's just
and then she gets a little bit of praise. Oh yes, praise me more.
Yep.
Yeah, her whole name Kasumi Nakasu, which then can be as I likes to do because it calls her Kasu, which she hates. And I found out why, because the translation is it basically comes down to just barely or not quite. Oh geez, no wonder she hates that nickname. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's the gremlin-y one.
Gremlin-y.
Yep. Like I said, feed Nico after midnight.
Yeah.
You get her. Yeah, and her best friend is Shizuku Asaka. Other first year, She's the other first year. But the thing is, Shizuku's also in the drama club because she's an actress. Yeah, she has her whole thing. Actually, for her, that's her whole the thing with there was her struggle was the trying to balance the drama and the drama club and the idol club.
Yeah.
At one point, she actually loses the role she had got. She got to pick for main role for play. And then loses it because you're just not. I thought you'd be perfect, and you're just not doing it right.
Yeah, because she was struggling with being able to, I guess, show herself.
Yep.
Really, just put herself out there.
She was using her acting ability to be just whatever people wanted her to be, and not be herself.
Yep, and it was holding her back, and that came to head.
Yeah. Another thing, Kasumi's one of her big struggles was actually, she freaked out because, oh god, I did exactly what Setsuna did.
Yep.
I tried to railroad people into being what I want them to be, not what they want to be.
Yeah.
So then she came and then went, nope, I messed up. I'm sorry.
Yeah. One of the things that, allowed the rebuilding of the club.
Yep.
Was her realizing that.
Yeah, but Shizuku's, she's very much kind of hiding behind a mask all the time. And initially, I don't think she realized she was even doing it. She just kind of was doing things, and then kind of was oh, I'm not actually letting people see me, am I?
Yep, she was afraid. Because she really likes old movies.
Yep. She likes the old Hollywood.
Yep, and she was afraid like people would think, because she did get made fun of, I guess, when she was younger. If I remember correctly, she was saying that. So she receded.
Mm-hmm. And then until Kasumi actually pulled her out, of all people.
Yeah.
Kasumi actually thought about someone else for once.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And the other first year is Rina. Rina has a hard time showing emotion.
Yep. Hard time expressing herself.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. It's like she complains that people think I'm angry all the time.
Yep.
She's not. She just has a hard time, showing how she feels. So she has a hard time connecting to others. And yeah, that's her episode is actually kind of a little bit heartbreaking at one point. She's hiding. She's literally hiding in a box in her room in the dark because she thought she had changed and she didn't.
Yep, she thought it was getting better and everything was getting, because she's part of the school idol club and her friends now, and but then when new people showed up, she still couldn't.
She tried to talk to them, and then she catches her reflection in the window and goes, "Oh,
I haven't changed at all.
My face is still the same."
Yeah, she didn't realize that. Yes, she had actually changed, but
yeah.
She still has. She still has some of the other struggles, didn't just completely go away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think her turning point was when she realized that, yeah, her facial expressions, she does not really have good control of her facial expressions, but she also can't speak well. But she had found, I guess, in the box, that when her face is hidden, she can speak again.
Mm-hmm. Sort of.
And that's where, and that's where a turning point for her was. And that's where she started using the paper and the digital mask.
The Rina-chan board.
Yep.
Yeah, she just draws what she, the various emotions so she can show how she feels to others.
Yep.
And then also has the electronic board, which it's like, that's an interesting bit of technology, because how is that?
Yeah, I'm pondering how that's supposed to...
it's the magic of anime. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that too. Well, I mean, for an actual production show, you just control it the same way you control all the timed lighting effects on the stage. You already know what you're going to say and the timing, so you can just schedule the faces to match. But, she's also a tech whiz.
Yeah, she's the one who has
gamer.
She is the RGB computer and everything. She has this fancy security system for her apartment and all that stuff.
Yep, she's a tech whiz and gamer.
Yeah, she loves tech stuff.
Yep, so it would be her that would make something like that.
Yeah, and she even initially made a little cat avatar for her intro or little PV, and then she's like, her problem is that's not me though.
Oh, but it can be, apparently.
Yeah. And then she made the electronic Rina-chan board, and yep.
Yep, and she's got a little costume with wings and the tail that's a plug.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great.
She had a hard time initially, and she kind of broke through. She got that breakthrough, and she didn't have to wallow anymore.
Yep. Yeah.
Part of that was because of I.
Yes, I
Miyashita.
Yep. I and Rina is the introvert gets adopted by an extrovert trope.
I just shows up one day. It's like, you're my introvert now. What? You're mine now. What?
That's basically how it was. Rina had no say in this. Just I goes, I like you. You're now my friend. You don't have any say in this. Let's go.
Yep.
And that just fits I's character.
I is as a happy, outgoing, friends with everybody type person.
She's great.
And she makes a billion puns.
Yep.
She likes her puns. And the worst thing is, she's capable of making puns in Japanese and English.
Oh, no.
And mixing them together. She is a deadly force in that regard. Be afraid.
Yep.
Yeah, she's just, the other things like they talk about, like she often helps out with like the athletic clubs and whatnot. So yeah, she's also physically in good shape. She's like Kanon in that regard.
Yep.
Yeah, she's just, and so she latches onto Rina, and I guess Rina kind of latches onto her, and yeah, she's always this fun-loving person and whatnot, and
she's great.
Yeah, the thing is, she also comes across as a Gyaru as well, which is interesting. That's the whole blonde hair thing and whatnot.
Yeah. You know what else she reminds me of?
What?
Just add some color and streaks of color into her hair and turn her into a zombie.
Seki.
Yep.
Because so that's the thing is Gary typically are seen as troublemakers and delinquents, and she completely defies that.
Yeah, she's totally not.
Yeah, so she's the one who constantly is, having fun and kind of inspired to like, okay, people aren't, like that one time they're going doing their training and it's like, it's just jogging. It's like, well, okay, let's play tag then.
Yep, get all the running in. We can have fun while doing it.
Yep.
She's a fun character.
Yeah, she's fun. And yeah, again, she tries to make friends with like pretty much everyone she meets.
Yep.
How about Kanata? Why not Kanata?
Kanata
Kanoi. She sleeps all the time. She's
Yep.
somewhat laid back, speaks very softly, slowly, falls asleep.
Does she carry a big stick?
I do not think so. Yeah. She's actually prone to just falling asleep, and then they notice that it's getting worse, and turns out the reason is because
she's working way too hard with her.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a good home.
Well, her home life is weird. Her mom has a night job, so she and her sister barely see their mom, her sister Haruka. And so Kanata winds up doing a large chunk of the taking care of her little sister and making her food. And then on top of that, she has to, do her schoolwork and whatnot because she's there in scholarship. And,
Yep.
It's one of those, if you drop, your grades drop, you're kicked out.
Yep. So she doesn't get much sleep.
And on top of that as well, she also has a part-time job.
Yep.
So yeah, she mostly sleeps at school. Except it's getting worse and worse because Haruka is also a school idol.
Yep.
At a different school. And yeah, it's and then Haruka notices that things are getting worse and is actually trying to it's basically she's like, you're overworking yourself. Okay, you're right. I'll just work harder. You're not listening.
Yep. And then her sister decides to drop because she's like, well, fine. If you're going to do that, then I'm going to stop being an idol so that I can take care so you can get your sleep. And then that was a big like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, it had to work it out. It's like, listen, it kind of had to figure out your little sister's, growing up too, and
she doesn't need the same level of protection.
She doesn't need to be babied.
Her.
She can help out.
Yep. And that's how they resolved that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The eyes. That was the other thing. Eyes. The whole thing. Her conflict was kind of most lightweight of all of them, I think, because hers was basically, I have a hard time with this whole. I'm used to working in groups, so this whole solo thing is really new for me.
Right.
So she's not used to that, so that was her whole thing until she's like, no, it's fine, and then she's like, no, it's fine though. Okay, and that was that.
Yeah. although there's one, if I remember correctly, that's where this one came up. The whole idea of the solo idols and the solo stuff. There's no real rules.
Nope. It's just kind of do your thing. She's not used to that either. She's not used to it.
Yeah, and it brings up a rather interesting point. Even though the whole thing is really rather light, it is an interesting point. The rules make things easy.
Yep.
You just do what you're supposed to do. I mean, there's rules there. It's set. You don't really have to figure it out. If there's only, and that was the other one, because there was also, Castman did the whole training. They were doing the whole lessons and like, what's the right answer? And it turns out there's many right answers, and that's difficult when there's no one right answer.
What? How does this work then?
Who am I to become on my own? Having to figure that out with no real guidance and directions. That's tough.
Yep. Yeah, so then there's also Emma Verde.
Emma.
She is not Japanese in the slightest. She is from Switzerland.
Yep.
She came over to Japan because she saw school idols and she wanted to be one.
Yep.
And of course, she's not played by anyone who's at all, Swiss at all. No Swiss.
No.
She is, so of course she speaks, perfectly fine.
Perfect Japanese.
Yep. No, what do you know? Even though she's supposed to actually struggle with Japanese, but nope. But yeah, so her whole thing is, that's her whole thing there is, she's from Switzerland and she's so super kind and caring. She's basically, team mom. Let's be real.
Basically, yeah.
Well, kind of her and Kanata in a way. Kind of, sort of. But
yeah.
Yeah, actually also winds up taking care of another member quite a bit, but yeah, we'll get to her in a little bit too. We're almost done. Yeah, she's the super nice one. She also has a tendency to speak. They kind of indicate she's from the Italian-speaking part of Switzerland because she speaks Italian.
Right.
And one of the idols speaking a bit of Italian here or there. That seems familiar. But yeah. They kind of get a little bit into the stereotype about Swiss people. Like, she is super from the country, super nice. Literally, like I said, the whole hills are alive thing.
Goats.
Yeah, she has pet goats and she's like
family pet goats.
Country girl and everything. And pigtails, red hair. They just went full all in on the stereotype.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like, I guess. So yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, but yeah, she's just a very kind and nice person, and she'll just like, she's the one who'll just like, let you cry into her shoulder just because, even if you're a complete stranger.
Yep.
Because it's clear you need help. It's also the thing that's kind of pops up a little bit in the anime, but it's mostly in the game, is she also can really eat.
Yes.
But also she has a big family apparently.
Yep. Well, again, that's part of the big stereotype.
Yep. Yeah, her thing was most kind of being in Japan.
Yeah, hers was pretty light too.
And just, I'm here in Japan, now what?
Now what?
Yeah, it'd been nice if they actually did the whole thing of like, actually her struggling to, be in Japan. But they didn't.
Yeah. Maybe more on the, language barrier.
Fish out of water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just for the most part, she just kind of, other than her hair color, it's like you wouldn't even, they didn't tell you, it's almost sometimes you wouldn't even know.
Even her hair color, because this is anime.
Well, I guess, then freckles.
Okay.
Freckles kind of give it away a bit.
Yeah, because remember, this is anime. Hair color is meaningless. You got the full spectrum going on.
Yeah, one of the things is also so you kind of homesick.
Every now and then it pops up a bit.
Yeah, that's to be expected. Teenager halfway around the world from home. Yeah, and then the final member here we see here in the anime is Karin Asaka. Third year, a model. Yep, she always likes to present it cool, calm, collected, all that stuff. She turns out she's not always cool, calm, and collected.
Nope.
She gets lost very easily. Even following the map on her phone, she gets completely turned upside down.
Did you just Bel Air everyone?
Yep.
Did you just...
Just take a minute.
God. Sit right there.
School idols, something, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hers also kind of impacts a little because she's like, she's always has this thing of like, I'm the cool one. Everyone looks up to me. And then when she's the one, they choose her to be the sole act because there's a thing like they can only perform one song at this big music festival, and so only one of them can perform, and winds up being Karin. And she eventually goes, "I'm scared. I'm legitimately scared. I can't do it." And she breaks down because, well, that's not who she's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to have it all together, and I don't.
Nope.
And they have to reassure that that's fine.
Yep. And then her friends help her out.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the other thing is, she also actually has a lot of little quirks. Show that she's not quite the cool person she presents herself as. Like Emma has to constantly take care of her.
Yeah. That's interesting. Emma, I think, wasn't Karin the first person that Emma really met?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But Emma pretty much has to take care of Karin all the time. She also gets really immediately embarrassed because like whenever she shows those aspects of her personality that don't match her image. Like
yes.
She loves pandas. And there's a bit in the game where you and her go to the zoo and she sees the pandas and loses it. And then she realizes that you're there. And oh no, that's it.
Oh no.
She knows I'm not actually cool.
Well, guess I'll die.
Yeah, pretty much. But then again, it's just like everyone has, sure, it's fine. It's in fact, I kind of, it makes you more interesting that, you're not just Miss Cool all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, she's a model, so she's also pretty good at the dancing thing as well.
And she has a lot of pre-existing fans outside of the school idol realm.
Yeah, including that one girl.
Including that one girl.
Jeez, he actually did the whole chin finger on the chin thing to her. Well,
Very gay.
It's like, jeez. Yeah. The other thing is also she's apparently actually pretty bad at school.
Oh, yeah.
She's not very good at it. Karin is 167 centimeters tall.
What's that in stupid?
65 inches. That's 6 foot, or that's not, sorry, 5'5".
5'5". Okay.
Versus like, and you got Rena, who's the shortest at 140 something, like 149 centimeters. So yeah, I don't think Rena doesn't even come up to 5 feet.
Oh.
Womp womp.
Yeah, it's I have to remember scale, because even with Karine being that tall, I still have a full head on
Of course,
her.
the other thing is I've noticed with Love Live that I feel like sometimes the heights they present and the actual
Don't
heights of the
match.
characters don't quite match. Like, I remember seeing something like oh yeah, there's the in the original Love, like Nico and Maki, short and tall, right? Their whole dynamic, so they're frequenting together. Nico's 154 and Maki's like 162 or something like that. 161. Like, that's actually not that big of a difference in height, and yet you see them next to each other, and it's like, it's 6 foot versus 5'11". That whole thing. It's like, what's going on here?
Artistic license. They play it up for the anime for the visual, because that's very important when you're on a visual medium.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's interesting for me, like, watching this. I've actually been playing the game, so I've known the characters for a while now, because they've been in the game since All-Star, since the beginning, and they're actually in the first game as well for a little bit as this intro, because here's the new characters. And here's the thing, actually 3 of them were actually voted into the new group, because they were just initially just the who cares character, that you just use to build up the ones you care about.
Right.
The normals, who don't even have voices. 3 of them, Kanata, Shizuku, and Emma, were initially just the normals with no voice or anything. They basically were there to just basically boost the ones you cared about from, like, Muse and Aquas. And then these 3 got voted in, and the rest are actually made specifically for this new group. Which I find funny, because at this point, like, Shizuku, Emma, and Kanata don't seem to actually be that popular anymore. Yeah, the other thing for me was that, Sarkar already knew the characters and knew a lot about them beforehand. There is some differences, some minor differences here and there, which is not surprising. That seems to always happen between the different media types.
Yeah.
I think for me, the thing that actually threw me off a little was the anime art style and the art style that in the game don't quite match. So for me, it's almost uncanny valley effect of like, it's not bad, but it doesn't quite look right, because it's in the game they match the art styles of the previous 2 anime, but these were in the anime itself, they have a slightly different art style, and you look at them side by side, you can actually see it, like, oh wow, that is kind of different.
Yeah, I don't have that since I don't play any of the games.
Yeah, so for me, it's just like, it's always like I recognize the character, but they just look slightly off the entire time until you get used to it.
Yeah.
Although that's also a funny thing, because the anime here was not done by Sunrise.
Oh.
It was done by Bandai Visual.
Right.
Which is funny, because connected to what we talked about last time, because Kashimashi was done by Bandai Visual. I did not know that until rewatching Kashimashi last time. It's like, oh. Well, that's an accident.
Everything is connected.
Yeah, and then also Lantis was involved with Kashimashi, and they are involved with the music for Love Live.
Oh.
So that's the thing, is like, oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's what part of it leads into why this anime is a little different from the other 2, is it's a different group doing it. Not just visually, but like just general, like there is no big overarching thing. It's a couple smaller arcs, but yeah.
Yeah, and it was actually when I was starting to watch this, one thing that was kind of worrying me is I know there's 13 episodes.
Where's the plot?
And I pretty quickly realize we're doing individual episodes for each of the main characters. Yep. There's 9 idols. There's only 13 episodes.
And you even kind of got her own episode, sort of.
Yeah, it's like there's not very many other episodes after this for like the big together thing.
Yep.
So is this suddenly gonna be like, oh, we spend all these times on each individual character, then do something really horribly paced and mash something together in the last few episodes?
Not really.
And well, that's what I was worried about,
Nope.
but I think they actually pulled it off fairly well.
Yeah. This is more even more slice of life than the other two, which were already pretty slice of life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's that's the thing. Is also the story going into a head later on, as we said. You and Ayumu sees you and Setsuna and assumes the worst, and then probably actually, as people point out, probably the gayest that Love Live has actually gotten, and Taranta is already kind of gay.
Yeah.
Which is Ayumu actually just basically pleading with you, only me.
Yeah.
Just only me. It's like, oh, geez. And then the awkward, never mind, bye.
Never mind, I screwed up, I'm out.
And then trying to play it off, it was nothing. I was just being weird. Don't worry about it. And it's...
No.
Then they kind of are, that was the thing about the last few episodes, that you and Ayumu kind of are awkward around each other now.
Yep. In which Setsuna notices.
Yeah, Setsuna is the one who picks up on it.
And he goes, there's something going on here.
And then it's like, you need to fix this.
You need to fix.
And they finally, and then Ayumu performs for you again, and And one of the big things is Ayumu finding out that, Yu's been taking up piano. She didn't know. Ayumu had no idea that you had taken up piano, but Setsuna did. What does Setsuna get to know?
Yeah.
Is Setsuna more important to you? No. That was the other thing. Was that you was no.
Immediate no. And they kind of took Ayumu by surprise in that response.
Yeah. And it's vaguely implied that, I guess the confession got through. It's like one of those things where it's, again, they're still trying to be subtle about it. This is like, at this point, they're pushing it pretty hard, though. Like that, the scene where Ayumu tackles you is like,
yep.
Whoa. Oh.
That ain't subtle.
Yeah, so it's like, you're like, okay,
and then,
come on,
walking down as they hold hands, they focus on that,
Yeah, it's like, this is the furthest that Love Live has ever pushed it. And then the franchise is practically built off teasing the idea of something going on. So it's one of these, it makes you wonder, is there eventually going to go to a point where they're just going to, screw it, we'll just go for it? Are they ever actually going to get to that point?
I hope so. Just do it.
Just do it. Just do it, cowards. Yeah, so that was a big part of it. And then we kind of got the actual, the School Idol Festival at the end.
Yep.
They put up together the big old festival thing, and then and then it's just them performing. Oh no, it's raining, and then it's fine.
It's fine.
And it was the last episode was essentially just a victory lap. It was like just an epilogue.
It basically was. Although it's like when they first talk about like, I want to have a school festival at all of the venues all at once with so many other people. It's like anyone who's ever done any work for festivals, conventions, or stuff like this would immediately start screaming at you. You are insane. That is a logistical nightmare.
Hey, look, they did it though. All you need is the power of montage.
It's like I don't want to know just how many fires were constantly having to be put out.
Yeah, well, we got to see some of them.
They only showed one. We only one real one, but it was resolved.
We saw the there's no sound.
Yep, they rebooted and it fixed it.
Just reboot. Shut up and reboot already.
Yep.
We just had to go. Pretend to do something. Okay, it should be fixed.
Yep.
Won't mention that all she literally rebooted it, but won't mention that's literally all she did.
Yeah. Well, we didn't see what she was trying beforehand, so maybe she did other things.
She was checking her MMO accounts.
Well, I mean, you know how weird Windows can be sometimes with audio devices.
Oh, yeah. And then there's it's raining.
And then it rains because no one wants to be outside. You know, you look at any modern music festival, they account for the rain and none of the audience cares.
Yeah. Just mosh in the mud.
Just whatever. It keeps everyone cool. It gets warm.
Yeah, it gets really warm between the lights and being near everyone and
the dancing, and hopefully that's all that's going on. Depends on the kind of concert.
Uh-oh. Hey, that's where I can see him. Hand check.
Hand check. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's more slice of life than anything. Of course, there's still the whole thing about Love Live just glosses over the horrors of the idol industry in general. But people point out, it is very much selling the idea of, hey, you can achieve your dreams by becoming an idol. Let's not talk about the fact that it's a grueling hell, and you'll be chewed up and spit out in about 8 years.
There are two kinds of idol hell. The kind where you fall in love with them and spend your entire life obsessed with them.
And possibly your wallet.
Actually being one.
Yep. They gloss over the fact that it can be outright hellish to be an idol.
Because the idols are usually the product being sold.
You're basically a product. You're being sold, and you are used up and spit out on the other side, and broke with no real marketable skills, and also no real relationships whatsoever.
Yep.
And they don't tell you that part.
Welcome to showbiz.
Yep. That's always the thing. It's always that grift. Get young, impressionable girls to show up and do the thing without telling them what actually takes to do the thing.
Everyone will love you.
Sell them on dreams.
15 minutes. Yep.
Yeah, so that's always been the bit of the criticism level at Love Live and pretty much any idol franchises. You don't talk about the actual horror part, although we've seen some of them kind of get a little bit, like Zombieland Saga, kind of are willing to kind of poke at that, like, it's not so great.
Not so great.
Actually, that was funny in the game recently, the main story, there was an intermission after the show. Yeah, because there was another character who showed up in the game who did not appear in here, so I'm wondering if there's going to be a season 2 with her and whatnot. Ashio Rico. Right. She did not appear in this, so I'm wondering about that.
Does not appear in this show.
Does not appear in the anime, has appeared in the game, and has been in the game for a while. And only recently in the worldwide version became an actual character to play with in the shows and whatnot. But in the game they had the intermission season, I guess. And the girls of Nijigasaki and Asaka, Muse, wind up going to a little private island resort thanks to Maki's connections and do a training camp there, and and then they do a little, some of them decide to do a prank where Honoka pretends to be dead and then do a murder mystery thing. And of course, 3 of them are just so naive, they completely buy it, as the rest are like, are you serious? Their acting is terrible. Other than Shizuku, their acting is awful. How do you buy this? Anyway, they cart Honoka off to another room because, well, it's hard for Honoka to be a corpse for too long, I suspect.
Yep.
And then Honoka eventually comes screaming into the room, freaking out because she says there's something outside. And then something starts banging on the window as a bloody handprint, and it's moaning and groaning. Oh God, is it zombies? And then it turns out, and then later on they kind of they just kind of all huddle up during the night while things are pounding on the window, and they just kind of close the curtains and all huddle together like nope. And then they go out and investigate in the daylight and find nothing other than a cave with some clothes in it, and like they're a little worried about that, and then they're still freaking out, and then then the one of them goes, wait, what if it not zombies, because zombies aren't real? What if it's like a shipwrecked like people? It's viable. This is an island. What if they're shipwrecked and they're asking for help? And we just condemned them to die.
Oops.
So then they, trying to still find no one. And then eventually they go out again and it gets dark and they see a bonfire on the beach and people dancing. And oh God, it's the zombies. Turns out it was actually Aqua's.
Oh.
Yeah. Because, Honoka approaches them because even though it's like, what are you doing? They're zombies. What are you doing approaching them? But they look like they're having fun. Honoka, no! Honoka, yes! And then she's like, hey, and then Chica's like, Honoka? Chica, what are you doing here? Turns out the reason Aqua's was there because they said they were going to be busy. They already booked some stuff to do film a PV, and turns out Marie had connections. They were able to get a boat ride to this beach because it's perfect for the PV. But unfortunately for them, they couldn't stay at the resort there because Marie was told someone already booked it.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. They're just ferrying over from another island. And turns out the whole reason the zombies, because yes, Aqua's idea was, let's do a horror theme PV where we're all dressed up as zombies. Oh, so zombie idols. That's interesting. And the little couple remarks about how zombie idols is, that's interesting. Huh.
Huh.
It's like, it makes me wonder if that whole thing was like a little nod to Zombieland Saga.
Maybe.
Because, Zombieland Saga was the unexpected success.
Yep.
Yeah, so of course we also got to talk about things like, okay, quick, favorite, go.
Well,
Really? Huh. I figured Irina for you.
I and Rena are both great, and they'd usually come as a pair package. So okay.
That's fine. Yeah, I like Setsuna actually. I don't know why. It's just kind of she's a huge dork. She hid it kind of well, but not really so much anymore. No, she
Not
turns
really
out
so
she is a huge
much.
dork.
She is. I still like the scene where they're in the office trying to get approval for the festival, and she's sweating
bullets.
trying to hold a face as her facade is beginning to crack.
Yep.
Speaking of the festival,
Yeah.
first thing I noticed was a giant freaking Gundam.
Oh yeah, the Gundam. I was like, oh my god, it's a Gundam.
It's a giant freaking Gundam.
Which makes sense. It's Bandai.
It does make sense, but it's still.
What's also interesting is they make no mention of the other groups.
They show up.
I mean, I'm talking about in Sunshine. They mention Muse. They don't mention Muse or Aquas in this at all.
Yeah.
They're not even. They don't. No cameo. No song from the previous things. No. It makes me wonder if there's actually potential, because it's different animations, to potential actual licensing issue.
Possibly. Although they did get the license to the name. Yeah, I don't know how licensing works over there. They obviously got rights to use the name Love Live.
I think it's because Sunrise Studios is busy with the Superstars anime.
Yeah, there may be a difference in like what licenses they were able to obtain, because there's a difference between like the trademarks for the imagery and the songs and copyright for the songs versus the copyright for the name and all that sort of stuff.
That's the other thing, is
it's not one big license.
That's another thing which is annoying, because for example, the songs in the anime, because each of them get their own solo song throughout the anime.
Right. Yeah. As sort of their.
When you watch them, when it first comes out, often the lyrics are not translated, because the licensing for the lyrics is different from the licensing for just the translating the dialogue. Yeah. So often and sometimes some of them still remain untranslated because licensing weirdness.
Yep.
So that's an interesting thing in itself, and that's always a little bit of annoyance. I don't know if there's going to be season 2. They obviously left it open for one.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me, because at this point we have precedence of 2 seasons in a movie, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Wow. Another thing about the festival I noticed, they have special shirts.
Mm-hmm.
They're wearing SIF, the School Idol Festival, I'm assuming.
Obviously.
It's also a Norse goddess.
Yep. It's also a wolf dog in Dark Souls.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the one other thing, of course, we haven't really talked about too much is, of course, shipping.
Music. Oh, shipping? Well, that wasn't like other music as well.
There's music, yeah, of course it's music. They do their solo thing. They occasionally come together and do a group thing, but mostly it's solo acts, and they all have their own distinct styles. Emma's tends to be very like soft and gentle type things.
Yeah, where Setsuna has a little bit more heaviness to it.
more rock, somewhat more rock, and also just powerhouse vocals. It's just I'm going to show you that I can hold a note for a really long time and be really loud too.
Yep.
And Rena tends to go more into electronic, almost chiptune at times.
Chiptune, more like EDM inspired esque stuff, which fits her character.
Yep, so on and so forth.
I will say, the ED for the episodes was really good.
Oh yeah,
I really like the ED.
Yeah, I
always listened through the ending credits because I always like the music.
Yeah, I also like the OP as well.
OP's good too. It also has all of them in suits, and girls in suits is always great.
Yeah, also that's that whole suit thing. That old hey, look, let's do an old style album cover.
Yep.
Who do you think you are? U2? Jeez.
Not U2.
Yeah, the shipping though.
The shipping.
What's interesting here is actually because I got to watch this as it came out, I actually got to see the fandom develop over this, because what happens is often the ships will start to perform before the anime.
And then you'll either see how they happen.
But then the anime itself will often override it, because the anime is the most popular version of the thing. So it's like you get the game and stuff, and like you see the ships start forming, and then the anime comes and goes, nope, these are the ships now. Because for example, one of the bigger, more popular ships before the anime came out was Setsuna and Karin.
Yeah, and that wasn't really a thing in the anime at all.
Yeah, because you got the whole the loud, passionate one versus the calm, collected one, and tall and short and red and blue and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And then anime comes along. No, Karin and Emma seem to be more of a thing.
Yep, Karin and Emma definitely.
And Setsun is embroiled in a love triangle with you and Ayumu.
Me? No. Rina and I don't know if I want to ship Rina and
Well,
I.
everyone else does.
Yeah, because it's like I can see that's an obvious one. That those two are paired up because they're always together.
Yep.
I'm not certain if I see it as quite that kind of a relationship,
I
but
can.
I could definitely see it as a thing.
Kasumi and Shizuku. Yep. Often that's the one of
Those two.
Kasumi, starts, getting her ego has to be popped a little bit by Shizuku every once in a while because, yep.
Yeah, that one.
That's the one that's popular. For a while, before though, Kasumi and actually Setsuna or you, it was the kind of the, I guess, player character.
Interesting.
Was the popular one?
Yeah,
popular ones.
because I do have to, since I don't have the experience of the games and being on that side of it, I only really I understand that from what you told me before watching it, what the character you is supposed to be and how it's sort of a pun, is the name is a pun as well. But since I didn't really experience it firsthand, I didn't have that sort of connection when watching other characters.
Yep.
So to me, the character you is a separate character.
Yep.
So I can see a lot of people may ship with that character a bit differently due to the game experience.
Yeah, Kanata seems to often be either just kind of left alone or kind of thrown in with Emma and Karin. Or I saw one fic where she's the token straight.
Ship Kanata and a pillow.
Yeah, why not? So those
body pillows if you have to.
Yeah, so those are going to be pretty obviously the prevalent ships. I've seen people ship Setsuna and Ayumu basically, ignore the axis type of thing to solve the love triangle.
Right.
Just cut you out. Huh?
Oh.
But of course, that good old polyamory solves everything.
Yep.
Seen that multiple times.
Yep.
So yeah, that's good old shipping. And of course, it's Karin and that one girl from the other school that she did the chin lift with.
Oh yeah, that one.
Because she actually has a name. She was one of the characters, and actually that was a fun fact. Remember the bit where they're in the shop that's selling idol merchandise, and they're like, "Oh, they're the cards." Those are actually cards in the game.
Oh,
those are actually from the game.
So it's a neat little reference.
I'm not sure if I can't remember if they're the actual cards or they just mimic the artwork, but they're the actual card design from the first game.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah,
that's definitely the shipping thing.
Yeah,
because of course you can't just you can't talk about Love Live without talking about shipping.
Yeah,
it's intrinsic to the experience.
They're entwined, yes. It's a little interesting. It would have been funny just from a pun point of view.
Yeah,
as if they had made I and you
to
get. It didn't really happen. They didn't have a huge connection in the anime, so
you who loves I's puns, as we saw.
Well, true. So I guess if you're grasping at straws.
Oh, that reminds me the shipping thing. So like in the game All Stars, right? Every single character has what's called bond episodes, right? It's basically individual episodes where your character basically interacts one-on-one with the individual characters. So there's 28 different bond storylines, and each one has multiple episodes. And basically it's more or less presented as one story, but branching off into what ifs of basically you're closer with this particular character, right? And Ayumu and multiple of them just shows up like, "Hey, what's going on over here? Nothing naughty, huh? Right?" Like, geez, like with Yo from Aqua's, like you and Yo hanging out, and then Yuma just goes, "Hey, I'm just gonna hang out with you guys now because you two are alone. I don't like that." And unfortunately, there's a bit where like Yuma has to go home, and you don't yet. Yeah, you and Yo can still hang out, and she kind of looks pretty clear like she doesn't. She's trying to figure out a way to stay around, but she can't.
Yeah,
because it's pretty clear she doesn't want to share you.
Yeah.
Which led to kind of people making occasional jokes about Yandere Ayumu.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Oh no.
Yes, it's just kind of funny. She keeps popping up in these other ones to just kind of be the foil. You can sometimes see the other characters a little disappointed that Ayumu showed up. Yeah.
Our plan is working.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I actually would say I think it's not quite as strong, for example, say Sunshine. I think Sunshine is overall stronger, but this is still a very good anime overall.
I will echo that.
First one's also pretty good, strong, although that's all kind of has the stumbling blocks of first one out.
Yeah.
But it's still, I
Still
think, it's strong
finding
in a
their
way. But I
footing.
think this one, in many ways, it gets some strengths from the whole let's just go pure slice of life, but also it gets some of its weaknesses from the same thing. So by not having an overarching plot line, it kind of hurts itself, but also helps itself.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
So yeah, I don't know. And I think some of the individual episodes weren't as strong. Again, Eyes and Emma's were kind of Eyes kind of, I think Eyes kind of was a little, didn't get strong till like the last 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
But then you got really strong episodes like Rina's and Karin's, I think were really strong. And then, of course, Ayuma and You towards the end there was also strong set. So it's one of those things. But anyway, I believe that's it, more or less.
Yeah, we're running a little long.
Yeah, that's fine.
But that's okay.
I think this happens every time with Love Live.
Yeah.
Because you got...
It's a lot of characters to talk about.
Yeah. So that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, you could check out other episodes at newtoweeaboo.libsyn.com, spelled L-E-B-S-Y-N, if you check that out. And you can find us on all the episodes there. Subscribe via RSS feed or subscribe via the other things, most of which are the top bar. You got Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and unlisted is Amazon Podcasts. You can search for New to Weeaboo on any of those and, subscribe to them. And on YouTube, you can also like and comment as well. Does that. I think you can technically comment on some of those other services, but it's a different, more of a review, if anything, but whatever. So yeah, you check all those things out. So you can also contact us via email, newtoweeaboo@gmail.com, if you have comments or questions or whatever, or anime recommendations of some sort. Remember, for that, we're largely at this point confined to pretty much Crunchyroll and Funimation.
Is there a difference?
At this point, there might not be a difference for much longer. We'll see how that plays out because that still hasn't been finalized.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. But so just be aware of that. It's been much more difficult for us to have to go hunt down something on Blu-ray or DVD or something and buy it and watch it that way.
That becomes very difficult.
Yep. The Kashimashi was that one exception because
it was significant.
Yeah, and also I had it.
Yeah.
But so that's that. So just be aware of that if you do anything. But you can also contact us via Twitter or at @newtoweeaboo there, and we'll occasionally post things from there, on there and whatnot, including things like, hey, turns out we should complain more often about lack of anime news.
Yeah.
Because turns out when you do that, suddenly we get anime news.
Yes.
There's also our personal Twitters. I'm at Nemesis Prime 1, and he's at Alcatraz with a 717 and an underscore at the end.
Yeah.
I'm still posting Transformers stuff, reviews, pictures.
I'm still ever watching.
Just watching.
Yep. Sometimes I wish I wasn't.
No. So that's that. That's done. We're done for the first episode 2021. Join us in a couple weeks. We'll be talking about the winter 2021 anime season, or at least a couple shows from that. So we'll see how that plays out.
We shall.
And I hope that things are going well for you and whatnot, despite everything.
Despite the state of the world.
Yeah. So we'll see you next time. So bye.
See ya.